Aunt Abby.
Yes, dear?
You're going to make plans for Teddy to go to that sanitarium, Happydale?
Yes, dear, it's all arranged. Dr. Harper was here today with the papers for Teddy to sign. Here they are.
He's got to sign them right away.
Dr. Harper thinks so, too. Then there won't be any legal difficulties after we pass on.
He's got to sign them this minute. Teddy's down the cellar. Get him up here right away.
There's no such hurry as that.
No, when Teddy starts working on the canal, you can't get his mind on anything else.
Teddy's got to go to Happydale now, tonight.
Oh, no, dear, that's not until after we've gone.
Right away, I tell you, right away.
Why, Mortimer, how can you say such a thing? Why, as long as we live, we'll never be separated from Teddy.
Listen, darlings, I'm frightfully sorry, but I've got some shocking news for you. Now, we've all got to try and keep our heads. You know how we've humored Teddy because we thought he was harmless?
Why, he is harmless.
He was harmless. That's why he's got to go to Happydale, why he has to be confined.
Mortimer, why have you turned against your own brother?
To find out sometime, might as well be now. Teddy's killed a man.
Nonsense, dear.
There's a body in the window seat.
Yes, dear, we know.
You know?
Now, Mortimer, just forget about it. Forget you ever saw the gentleman.
Forget?
We never dreamed you'd peek.
But who is he?
His name's Hoskins, Adam Hoskins. That's really all I know about him, except that he's a Methodist.
That's all you know about him? Well, what's he doing here? What happened to him?
He died.
Aunt Martha, men don't just get into window seats and die.
No, he died first.
Well, how?
Mortimer, don't be so inquisitive. The gentleman died because he drank some wine with poison in it.
Well, how'd the poison get in the wine?
When we put it in the wine, it's less noticeable. When it's in tea, it has a distinct odor.
You put it in the wine?
Yes, and I put Mr. Hoskins in the window seat because Dr. Harper was coming.
So you knew what you were doing. You didn't want Dr. Harper to see the body.
Well, not at tea. That wouldn't have been very nice. Now, Mortimer, you know all about it. Just forget the whole thing. I do think Martha and I have the right to our own little secrets.
And don't you tell Elaine. Oh, Abby, while I was out, I dropped in on Mrs. Schultz. She's much better now. But she wants us to take Teddy to the movies again.
Well, we must do that tomorrow or the next day.
Yes, but this time we'll do exactly what we want to do. Junior's not going to drag me into any scary pictures.
City desk? Hello, Al? Do you know who this is? That's right. Say, Al, when I left the office, I told you where I was going, remember? Or did I say? It'll take about a half hour to get to Brooklyn. What time have you got? That's right, I must be here. Aunt Abby, Aunt Martha, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
What are we going to do about what, dear?
There's a body there.
Yes, Mr. Hoskins.
Well, I can't turn you over to the police, but what am I going to do?
Well, for one thing, dear, stop being so excited.
And for pity's sake, stop worrying. We've told you to forget the whole thing.
Forget? My dear Aunt Abby, can't I make you realize that something has to be done?
Now, Mortimer, behave yourself. You're too old to be flying off the handle like this.
So, Mr. Hotchkiss.
Hoskins, dear.
Whatever his name is, you can't leave him there.
We don't intend to.
No, Teddy's down in the cellar now digging the lock.
You mean you plan to bury Mr. Hotchkiss in the cellar?
Oh, yes, dear. That's what we did with all the others.
No, you can't bury Mr. Others.
The other gentleman.
When you say others, you mean others more than one others?
Oh, yes, dear. Let me see. This is 11, isn't it, Abby?
No, dear, this makes 12.
Oh, I really don't think you should count the first one.
No, dear, I remember when Mr. Hoskins first came in, it occurred to me that he would make just an even dozen.
Oh, no, you're wrong, Abby. This is 11.
No, dear, this makes 12.
Hello? Hello? Hello, Al. Nice to hear your voice.
Anyway, they're all down in the cellar.
No, Al, I'm sober as a lark. I just called because I'm Pirandello. You wouldn't know, Al. Look, I'm glad you called. Get hold of George right away. He's got to review the play tonight. I can't make it. No, Al, you're wrong. I'll tell you all about it tomorrow. Well, George has to cover the plates. My department and I'm running it. You get hold of George. Now let's see. Where were we? 12?
Yes, Abby thinks we should count the first one, and that makes 12.
All right. Who was the first one?
Mr. Midgley. He was a Baptist.
Of course, I really don't think we can claim full credit for the first one. He just died.
Martha means without any help from us. You see, Mr. Midgley came here looking for a room.
It was right after you left for New York.
And it didn't seem right for that lovely room to be going to waste when there were so many people who needed it.
He was such a lonely old man.
All his kith and kin were dead, and it left him so forlorn and unhappy.
We felt sorry for him.
And then when his heart attack came and he sat dead in that chair looking so peaceful, remember, Martha? We made up our minds then and there that if we could help other lonely old men to that same peace, we would.
He dropped dead right in that chair. How awful for you.
Oh, no, dear, not really. It was rather like old times. Grandfather always had a cadaver or two around the house. You see, Teddy was digging in Panama, and he thought Mr. Midgley was a yellow fever victim.
That meant he had to be buried immediately.
So we took him to Panama and put him in the lock. That's why we tell you not to worry, because we know exactly what's to be done.
And that's how all this started. That man walking here and dropping dead.
But we knew we couldn't depend on that happening again, so...
You remember the jars of poison up on the shelves in Grandfather's laboratory all these years?
You know your Aunt Martha's knack for mixing things. You've eaten enough of her pickle, Lily.
For a gallon of wine, I put in 1 teaspoonful of arsenic. And then I add just a half a teaspoonful of strychnine and just a pinch of cyanide.
Should have quite a kick to it.
Yes, as a matter of fact, one of our gentlemen found time to say, "How delicious."
Oh.
I better be getting things ready in the kitchen, dear.
I wish you could stay for dinner.
I'm trying a new recipe.
I couldn't eat a thing.